Is Namibia the closest we'll ever get to another planet? This country has giant red dunes, trees that have been dead for centuries, abandoned towns buried beneath the sand, and a coastline filled with shipwrecks. Wild animals survive in places with almost no water, and somehow, this is only the beginning. Namibia is one of those countries that hardly looks real. Located in southwestern Africa, it is more than twice the size of Germany, yet only around 3 million people live there. Huge parts of the country are almost completely empty. Most journeys begin in Windhoek, the capital and largest city. Surrounded by dry hills, it feels calm, clean, and easy to explore. The city has colorful markets, local restaurants, modern shopping centers, and buildings that reveal Namibia's German colonial past. One of its best-known landmarks is Christ Church, with its stone walls, tall tower, and red roof. German influence can still be seen in the architecture and food, while English, German, Afrikaans, and several local languages can be heard around the city. Windhoek is a comfortable place to begin the journey, but the real adventure starts outside the capital. The Namib Desert stretches along much of Namibia's Atlantic coast and is considered one of the oldest deserts in the world. Deep inside it lies Sossusvlei, a landscape of enormous red dunes, white clay pans, and scenery that almost looks unreal. The dunes get their red and orange colors from iron in the sand. They are especially impressive early in the morning, when the rising sun divides them between light and shadow. One side glows bright orange, while the other remains almost completely dark, with the colors changing as the sun moves higher. One of the most popular is Dune 45, named after its location near the 45th kilometer of the road into Sossusvlei. Its ridge can be climbed on foot, but walking through soft sand is much harder than it looks. Once there, the view stretches across red sand, dry valleys, and dunes in every direction. Nearby is Deadvlei, one of the most famous sites in Namibia. This white clay pan is filled with the dark remains of camel thorn trees that died hundreds of years ago. Shifting dunes blocked water from reaching the area, but the desert became so dry that the trees never fully decomposed. Today, their black trunks stand against the bright white ground and orange dunes, creating a strange and unforgettable landscape. Together, the dunes of Sossusvlei and the ancient trees of Deadvlei create one of the most striking places in Africa. Namibia's western coast is one of the most remote and mysterious places in Africa. It is known as the Skeleton Coast, named after the shipwrecks and animal bones once found along its shores. Cold water from the Atlantic Ocean creates thick fog along the coast, making the land difficult for ships to see. Strong currents and rough waves pushed many vessels toward the shore, where they became trapped in shallow water or sand. Even those who survived the shipwreck were not safe. Beyond the beach was a huge desert with almost no fresh water, food, or settlements. With the ocean behind them and hundreds of miles of empty land ahead, escape was extremely difficult. The remains of several ships can still be seen today. Rusting wrecks rise from the sand, while waves crash around them. The fog, dunes, rough ocean, and abandoned ships give the Skeleton Coast its mysterious atmosphere. But despite looking completely empty, this area is full of life. At Cape Cross, tens of thousands of Cape fur seals gather along the shore. The colony is loud, crowded, and unlike anything else in Namibia. Jackals and brown hyenas search for food nearby, while desert-adapted elephants and lions live farther inland. The Skeleton Coast shows exactly what makes Namibia so fascinating. Even in one of the driest and most dangerous landscapes on Earth, life has found a way to survive. Northern Namibia is home to Etosha National Park, one of the best places in Africa to see wildlife. The park is filled with open plains, dry woodland, and natural waterholes, but its most famous feature is the enormous Etosha Pond. The park's waterholes attract wildlife throughout the year, especially during the dry season. Zebras, giraffes, elephants, wildebeest, and antelopes all gather to drink. Sometimes sitting beside a waterhole is more exciting than driving around looking for animals. The area may seem empty at first, but then zebras begin to approach, followed by giraffes, springbok, and perhaps an entire herd of elephants. Predators are never far away, Lions wait near the waterholes, leopards hide in the vegetation, and cheetahs hunt across the open plains. Etosha is also one of the best places in Namibia to see black rhinos. At some camps, visitors can sit behind a protected viewing area and watch a waterhole after dark. Animals suddenly appear from the darkness, drink for a few minutes, and quietly disappear again. Etosha looks very different from the green landscapes often connected with African safaris. Its white ground, dry trees, and open horizon create a completely different scene. West of Etosha lies Damaraland, a wild region of rocky mountains, dry riverbeds, and wide open plains. This is one of the few places where desert-adapted elephants still move freely outside a national park. They travel through dry river valleys, searching for food and water, sometimes covering huge distances along the way. They are not a separate species, but they have changed their behavior to survive in this harsh environment. They often live in smaller groups and move farther between water sources than elephants living in greener areas. Finding them is never guaranteed. Tracks may appear in the sand, but the elephants could already be many miles away. This uncertainty makes seeing them feel even more special. Damaraland is also home to desert-adapted black rhinos. Local trackers help visitors find them on foot while keeping a safe distance. Conservation programs involving nearby communities have helped protect these animals from poaching. Another important place in the region is Tweefelfontein, where thousands of ancient carvings cover the rocks. These carvings are several thousand years old and may have been used to share information about animals, hunting, and water sources. Farther south is Spitskappe, a group of granite peaks rising sharply from the flat desert. The tallest peak reaches more than 5,500 feet above sea level and is often called the Matterhorn of Namibia because of its pointed shape. With almost no light pollution, the Milky Way appears clearly above the desert. Thousands of stars fill the sky, making the night just as impressive as the landscape below. After days of driving through heat and dust, Swakopmund feels like a completely different country. This coastal town sits between the Namib Desert and the Atlantic Ocean, with huge dunes on one side and cold water on the other. Swakopmund has wide streets, palm trees, old German buildings, cafes, and a long walkway beside the sea. The cool coastal air feels almost strange after spending so much time in the desert. Fog often covers the town in the morning, before the sky clears later in the day. Beyond the buildings, enormous dunes rise from the edge of town, showing just how close the desert really is. Swakopmund is known as Namibia's adventure capital. Visitors can climb the dunes, ride across them, or slide down them on sandboards. Scenic flights offer an even better view, revealing exactly where the desert meets the ocean. Just south of Swakopmund is Walvis Bay, an important harbor surrounded by shallow wetlands. Large groups of flamingos gather here, along with pelicans and many other birds. Nearby is Sandwich Harbor, where enormous dunes fall directly toward the Atlantic. At high tide, the space between the sand and the ocean can almost disappear. Swakopmund also reveals some of the Namib Desert's smallest animals. Guided walks uncover geckos, snakes, spiders, and lizards that normally remain hidden beneath the sand. In southern Namibia, the Fish River cuts through a huge rocky landscape, creating one of the largest canyons in Africa. Fish River Canyon stretches for more than 90 miles. In some places, it is around 17 miles wide and more than 1,600 feet deep. From the main viewpoints, the canyon seems to continue forever. Layers of rock twist around the river below, shaped by millions of years of erosion. For much of the year, only small pools of water remain in the river. More water flows after heavy rain, but the surrounding landscape stays hot, dry, and almost completely empty. A long hiking trail follows the canyon floor, but it is only open during the cooler months because summer temperatures can become dangerous. The hike takes several days, with few facilities and no easy way to leave the canyon early. Even without hiking, the view from the edge makes the long journey worthwhile. Fish River Canyon is quieter and less famous than many of Namibia's other attractions, which makes its enormous size even more surprising. And there we have it, Namibia, a country filled with incredible wildlife, endless deserts, and landscapes found nowhere else on Earth. Which of these places would you like to visit the most? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for the next journey.